the title was Gremlins.
Yeah.
But then when I went to see it, I was like, oh my gosh, that's a Mogwai, which I grew up with. It's like this Chinese folklore. And so that really piqued my interest. And then all the scary, the dark comedy. It's so good. And I think, Steven Spielberg, John Dante, and Zichong, they like really made sure to keep that aspect.
Gremlins, Secrets of the Mogwai premieres on Max on May 23rd. Ming-Na, I wanted to start with you. You voice the Sam's mother in the series. So how would you best describe your character?
Fong Wing is she's a medicine woman. She knows Chinese medicine, and she runs a shop with her husband Hong. And she's very modern for someone who is from the 1920s in Shanghai, where she's very equal with her husband, and at the same time just takes no prisoner. She's very protective of Sam, and when it comes time to do extraordinary things, she is brave enough to come up with ideas and concepts, even though deep down inside she's scared and nervous and worried, and have less confidence, but she won't show it on the outside.
Right, absolutely. BD, I want to ask you this: you play Sam's father in the series. How would you best describe him?
Publicity materials described him as very calm, and that was not the first way that I thought of him, which was very, very interesting. Having actually, done all of these scenes, I found him delightfully nervous, and also kind of in this relationship with a strong woman who, has an initiative and a kid who has strong ideas about what to do in a stressful situation, and that he tends to be the one who's kind of wants to be the voice of reason and is a little bit nervous about it. I guess the calmness is that he's not hysterical about it, but he does question a lot what is happening around him, and whether or not we're all making the right decisions, and tries, as the father or the one of the co-parents of the kid, to figure out the best decision to make. And many of these decisions are impossible decisions, like these adventurous things where they find themselves out. They're like a normal family finding themselves in these extraordinary situations, and they can't believe they're having these conversations about whether they should be doing X or Y or Z. And so I think he's a normal guy caught up in this extraordinary world.
Thanks, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Yes, thanks to Grandpa.
And speaking of Grandpa, James, you voiced the character of Grandpa Wing, and he's a big part of this story. So what did you like most about voicing this character?
First of all, you're right. I was very glad that I was a big part of the thing. I hate to take these two-liners, Right. But Grandpa is very close to me because I remember my father. Also, I went to my village and visited. Unfortunately, my grandma was dead, but there's all those old legends of how the bandits came and raided my village, and all those images came alive when I voiced this character of the grandfather who knows everything. He knows Guang, which is one of my favorite gods, a god of war, just fierce and always determined, and Guan Yin, the goddess of mercy. So I am in love with the past history of China, because it was one of the oldest so-called dynasties of the world. And so to portray the grandfather as the guy who knows it all, that's very good. So I got that out of my system. But still, nobody in this so-called episodes believe that I know these things, But so I just keep talking, and nobody believes me. And finally, as it is in life, they listen to me because it's coming true.
Absolutely.
Well, they're forced to, right? I mean, they can't help it. They can't deny it after a certain point.
Right. And last question for me before I let you guys go. And obviously, this is a prequel to the Gremlins films that took place in the 80s and 90s. Were you fans of the film? Did you watch those films when they first came out?
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
I thought it was just great that they were scary and funny and dark, and the combination was kind of unique at the time, and really exciting to see something that this cute and cuddly thing becoming kind of this crazy scary thing. I think
well, I
it was
remember
kind of genius.
the title was Gremlins.
Yeah.
But then when I went to see it, I was like, oh my gosh, that's a Mogwai, which I grew up with. It's like this Chinese folklore. And so that really piqued my interest. And then all the scary, the dark comedy. It's so good. And I think, Steven Spielberg, John Dante, and Z Chung, they like really made sure to keep that aspect that made Gremlins, the original Gremlins, so lovable.
I totally agree with you. It's a blessing that this series is coming back. I think the producers and directors did a wonderful job of keeping the story going of the Mogwai and the secrets and all these little actions that were present in the first episode now just comes alive, and even more with the technology they can put into it. It's really an advancement of the old series or movie into what is nowadays technically possible. So I think the children and the middle-aged kids who will love this series because it's got that kind of feeling. You want to stick with it and go from one episode to another. And I imagine they will be quite downhearted when it comes on. Look at the next episode in so many words. It's going to be interesting to see how the fans love this film.
Absolutely. Well, I got to see the first few episodes. They were all great. So I'm looking forward to seeing all the episodes here soon. James, VD, Ming-Na, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. And continued success to all three of you.